Hey Laparinos, it is Avi from Of Science and Swords, and even in a stage 4 lockdown, you're not gonna stop us having a good time here. That's right, I am actually stuck living here throughout the quarantine. No, that's actually kind of a lie. We have a couple of new things to show you. First of all, you've no doubt seen our fantastic wand holsters already. They allow you to wander into wizard duels and make sure that you are well prepared for the task. However, perhaps you want to have the element of surprise. You want someone to think that you're some sort of weird... I don't like the term muggle. It's very British, and nomad is just like stupid. I really like that whole idea that Australians would say, muggo, muggo. You know, not like we can actually say wandless on YouTube. The point is, you want to be able to wander into that battle with all of the elements of surprise! We now have under the shoulder weapon holsters. Well, wand holsters at any rate. Basically patterned off your stereotypical carry concealed gun holster. They strap on quite nicely. They're very, very comfortable. As you can see, they don't restrict my movement at all. They stay in place because there's a belt strap, which will also happen to make it holster quite nicely. Now, currently they only come in the left-hand side. However, you can unstitch that and then simply retie it over on the other side. Getting one on off, super easy. 2 straps. Magic! But what wizards study is complete with just an assortment of wands? Well, you might want a little bit more mise-en-scène. You're all quite familiar with our standard Epic Armory throwing skulls. They're nice and soft and squishy. But they're a little bit small. In fact, if you found a skull that big, I'd be worried about the caliber of enemies that you're killing, which is why we're upsizing. We haven't quite gotten to the size of humans yet. As you can see, it's only a little bit larger than my fist. But let's check out the brand new skull. Unfortunately, the foam is a much tougher density than it should be for a throwing item. It's quite solid. Hopefully that is something that Epic Armory will fix in future production runs, but in the meantime, it makes a fantastic little bit of set dressing for your nice little wizardy area. But how do you really show how much power you have as a scary, scary magic user? Well, you could start adding some magic rings. You could possibly have a circlet of some description. But the problem with that is that jewelry on field can damage other people's weapons if it's on your hands, and if it's on your head and you get struck in the head, your crown might actually end up being more fragile than you would like it to be. Epic Armory have come up with a solution for that as well. In conjunction with the designers at Atelier Fantastic Art, Epic Armory now has 2 latex tiaras that are going to be highly durable, and you can just stick them around your head. First, we've got the skull design, which is just full of awesome necromantic power, followed by the Lorelei diadem. Both of these being a very, very solid latex, like the new masks and warrior helmet, means that they're actually going to be quite combat durable. In fact, I'm giving this a good solid tug. You can probably see my knuckles going white as I pull. I would be able to tear this with more force, but it would be a considerable amount of force that I don't believe it's likely to undergo on field. Putting them on should be relatively simple. The trick of it is, get a little bit through there, and then double it back across the chompy teeth. So, down you go, chompy teeth. Like I said, it's a bit of a trick. But once you've got it on the first time, you should be, hey, ready to go. And then just tighten the strap along the back. How does it look? Am I fabulous? Well, I'm always fabulous. You know it, honey. I don't know why I instantly go Eurotrash every time I put on some jewelry. Actually, I do know why. I know exactly why. It's the Gecko brothers from Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life. Ooh, that works quite nicely, I think. You dare come here to the place of my power! So what else have we got that is new? I did mention those new latex masks, still on the Atelier Fantastic Art production. We have 4 of the new masks. We've got the Jason. I believe Rene has already done a couple of videos where he mentions that they are for people with a slightly smaller head. Now, I have a gigantic sized head, especially in comparison to the standard of Epic Armory products. Let's just have a quick look at how well this would fit. My eyes are here. So these are unfortunately going to not be suitable for the larger LARPer unless you are willing to cut them a little bit and modify them. However, they do have remarkably fine detail. Moving along, this is possibly the most detailed of the new masks. This is my first time seeing them in actuality, by the way. That's actually really cool. At first, when I saw the Moko mask, I thought it was a traditional Japanese style of mask, but upon closer inspection, now that I can actually see it in person, it looks much more Islander, Maori or Polynesian. It's just absolutely fantastically detailed, and I could really see this doing quite nicely, particularly for the Kiwis who are LARPing out there, who want to have something where they have some LARP that represents their own cultural history. The Kratos mask. I laugh because it reminds me of the Judgment from Red Dwarf. You know, the guy that goes through time with the time glove. In any case, strap on your time gloves and demand people justify why they should exist instead of someone else throughout all of the potential universes. Lastly, the Clote mask. This is a representation of the mask of the man in the Iron Mask, you know, like the Leonardo DiCaprio film, which is actually a genuine bit of French mythology and possibly even French reality. We're not ever really certain who the man in the Iron Mask was. He was someone that existed. Some people reckon he was the actual twin brother to the King of France. Who knows why he was kept in the Bastille? The Man in the Iron Mask, unfortunately not iron. We could probably get one made for you, but it would weigh a ton. Well, actually it'd weigh about 6 kilos. Very well detailed. Quite sturdy, although you really wouldn't want that happening to you whilst wearing it. And the coloration is actually quite good. You know, I could believe that that is iron at a distance. Speaking of iron, we've also got in the latest from the Darkmoon range, the new pipe saps. The pipe hammers are coming very soon. And oh, hello. It actually does have a core. It's got a very, very flexible core inside. That's amazing. And the fact that it does bend means that you could probably use this to bonk someone on the head without too much in the way of repercussion. Yeah, flexes decently. You can actually follow through. I'm really liking the fact that that is actually suede and leather thonging around it, as you would probably use to make it quite comfortable. My only issue with it is that it's got absolutely no weight at all. If this was a real piece of metal pipe of this size, it doesn't feel quite right. Conversely, if you were to put the proper weight behind it, it would no longer be suitable for bonking people in the head with. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, I actually think this is a really cute little weapon, and it's one that's easily concealable. So any kind of negotiation scenes that you're going to be doing in a modern day to post-apoc LARP, or even, you know, this would fit quite nicely into a steampunk setting, honestly. So, you know, your 1800s onwards type LARPs, this would go very, very nicely. The new pipe sap actually does come in a range of colors. There's yellow, a white, and a red as well. I think there might be a blue. Speaking of new weapons, oh man, these are really going to blow up. I really like these actually. I just wish we had some little motion sensor thing we could put inside them so they'd go bang when they sort of came to a sudden stop. Grenados! We have had a hand grenade as part of the Darkmoon range for absolutely ever. And a lot of people have been like, well, you've got hand grenades, why not do little bomb grenados? The biggest problem with that is actually getting this little piece of rope to stay. We finally managed to do it, so we finally have these cool little bombs, and because it's an actual little piece of rope, in theory, you could set that on fire if you wanted to, but why would you want to? Anyway, they are designed as a throwing weapon, so now you've got your little goblin sapper or dwarf grenadier hand weapons. Again, throwing weapons, so... No! He was was my only friend in lockdown. So how are you going to protect yourself from all of this devastation going on? I mean, we've already spoken about the new masks. They're not exactly going to be protective. Well, we do have a new little bit of armor that's just recently arrived. It's been something that people have had in anticipation. It is the Milanese pauldrons that match the breastplate. Epic Armory's been trying to get these out for a while, but you know, mass production, there's always a couple of teething issues that go on with these things. But they're finally here. Let's check them out now. The Funk's your brother. Right about now. Funk Soul Brother. So right off the bat, I've chosen the wrong gorget to attach these to. As you can see, I've picked out a dark one, and I've brought out the shiny shoulders, because I'm slightly a little bit of a fool. Let's do what we can, and frankly, the two-tone effect looks nice. Well, LARPerinos, I finally managed to get them on, all by my lonesome self. This is the part of the story where Arvi learns the necessity of a good squire. As you can see, they offer a fair range of motion. You might be wondering what this little bit of extra guardy thing is here. I'll get to that in just a second. Let's just have a quick look at them. They flare out quite nicely at the back, protecting the shoulder blades, and they actually still provide a fantastic range of motion. You know, so much so that I can still reach the top shelf and grab down a sword that's just absolutely appropriate for them. Ooh, it's the Caprine. I love this thing. We actually have a necklace of the Caprine available. It's not really, it's just a goatee necklace, but it goes great with it. The little bit of extra guard either allows it to be in an up or down position. It's pretty easily removed, just like the faceplate from the Visor Barbuda. There is a pin, you can just move it up or down. I mean, obviously you can't wear the visor upside down. You either get a sword breaker, I guess a little bit of an extra sword breaker, or you get further guard going down the elbow. If you're playing a game design that allows you to basically ignore blows anywhere that you've got plate armor on, that's actually going to be quite fantastic, because you just put your elbow out and all of a sudden you've got further guard capability as you go. As I said before, motion's still quite good. The only issue, of course, is that I am wearing this on a gorget, which I have mounted the pieces to, but not very, very well. I am actually terrible with knots. I thoroughly recommend that you actually mount these to a proper gambeson. Either the Epic Armory Imperial Gambeson, which has mount points specifically designed to match with these, or sew the little leather bits that come with either the gorget or the shoulders themselves directly onto your already extant gambeson, and then put the tie strings through the leather tie. As you saw before, the flare out at the back is absolutely spectacular. Those wings are, you know, they're not as pretty, but they are on par with the amount of protection that you get from the Gothic fluted wings. Another reason why you would really, really want to be wearing a gambeson as opposed to street clothing underneath these, because the armor bite from the wings is probably going to be something shocking. I'm currently wearing a t-shirt and just my Epic Armory hoodie, which is fairly thick, and I can still feel the armor through those. What I really, really love about the Milanese shoulders is how redonkulously chunky they actually are. I wore these backwards briefly by accident, and they actually still had a fantastic range of motion in them. And they didn't look that stupid backwards either. Here, let me show you. As you can see, you end up with this look that's kind of like the ridiculous huge shoulders that you often see in JRPGs and anime, and even in Warhammer. And there's a very good chance that artists that created those characters, character models, the artwork, actually saw shoulders like these backwards and were like, oh no, that's definitely the way to go. They'd be wanting to protect this part, which is filled with arteries and nerves that are highly problematic. So by wearing these backwards, you actually manage to protect all of that on field as well. Again, give it a try. Well, there you have it, LARPerinos, and my good friend Yorick, whom I knew well. Some new gear coming out of Epic Armory, and we've got some more on its way. I'd love to be able to say, we'll see you on the battlefield, but unfortunately we're still in the middle of our Stage 4 lockdown here in Melbourne, so instead I'm just going to say, I hope you're all safe, I hope you're all dealing with this okay. Please remember to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, wear a mask when going outside, and just try to be kind to other people until we manage to get through all this. Patient.